Part 383. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu. Chapter 3821. If those stunned youths who have just started their blood serum heard such words, they would want to dig out their hearts and souls, and take out everything about themselves. But now Fang Fan is already an old fritter. There has long been resistance to such radical rhetoric. People talk about it a little bit, but you just listen to it a little bit and you'll be fine. If you take it seriously, you lose. Thank you, Demon Heaven Saint, for your love. Fang Fan shrugged, then said in a nonchalant manner. Mo Tien, the first-class saint in the Dark Temple, raised his eyebrows, looking a little embarrassed at the moment. He said so much just to make Fang Fan give an attitude. But now it seems that Fang Fan has been so cold and arrogant from the beginning to the end, like a hedgehog covered with thorns, there is nowhere to start. Little friend Fang Fan, if you can join my Dark Temple, if this Wang apprentice makes any changes to you, then he is making an enemy of my Dark Temple. Even if I try my best, I will block it. Fang Fan, you don't have to worry too much. I'm in the same realm as him. Although I'm not sure about killing him, it's okay to hold him back. Motion, the first-class saint in the Dark Temple, immediately began to hint crazily again. In fact, the meaning expressed now is relatively clear. That is to say, as long as you join my Dark Temple, I can keep you. If you don't join, it may be dangerous. At a glance, that's probably the case. I understand everything. Fine. It's just a strong demigod, so don't bother with the demon heavenly saint. It's fine if he doesn't toss about anything. If it's really tossing, just kill it. Save the noise. Fang Fan shrugged, and while talking, a calm expression gradually appeared on his face. This wave, there is nothing to say. The rhythm seemed so calm. While speaking, his eyes fluttered, and everything was silent. The rhythm is steady, and everything can be steady. Others that have or don't have it are all small problems. Destroy, kill. Hiss. Isn't this a bit too arrogant? We'd better, it's better to hang on. Rhythm, the rhythm can't be too chaotic. Mo Tien, the first-class saint in the Dark Temple, trembled and almost fell from the sky. When Fang Fan said this, he didn't feel any pretense at all. But I don't know why, but at this moment, I feel that it is full of force. Can this be unreasonable? Listen to what people say, how domineering are these words. It looked like it was about to crush everything into place. It doesn't matter if the rhythm is chaotic, this consciousness has also completely collapsed. In vain call Nahi, in vain call Nahi. There's really nothing to say about this stuff. Stay calm, this is the most important thing. Otherwise, the whole line will collapse. It's just that messy. You can't say anything. The more I think about it, the more I collapse. I thought I was crazy enough. I didn't expect this guy to be 100 times crazier than me. Now even the strong demigods are ignored. Holy One, your kindness has been treated like a donkey's liver and lungs. Oh, that's right. You don't have any good intentions at all. You are clearly just hugging grass and beating rabbits. You also have your own little juju in your heart. Madman, the first son of the Dark Temple, usually doesn't speak, but when he speaks, he is very sincere. Mo Tien. If you can't speak, don't speak. What I'm wondering now is whether what Fang Fan is telling is the truth, or is it false and evasive. It doesn't matter if you say these words purely for the sake of pretense. The key now is that this guy has some special ideas. In this case, it's really finished. It's no small matter. Now Fang Fan and the guards around him already have the ability to fight against strong demigods. Call. The speed at which this person grows is amazing. How long has it been since the sacred territory was discovered? In the beginning, Fang Fan didn't show his face, so no one cared about him at all. But since the territory of God's land was discovered, all his miracles are amazing. Is this the strength of the reincarnated body of the true God? Don't try to compete with such an existence, it will become unfortunate. This Wang student may be in trouble. Mo Tian, the first-class saint in the Dark Temple, looked at Wang Tu in the distance, then shook his head, showing a hint of pity on his face. This guy is already dying, but he doesn't know it yet. Sad. So sad. Sadness flows like river. Some of the other ones are missing, and they even talk about a hammer. Let this rhythm completely follow the chaos. Feel it, that's what it is. The more I think about it, the more irritable I feel. There are thousands of thoughts, and the consciousness is in chaos. Let all this follow the full hip pull. This is the most important thing. For it. Holy One, what do you see? What do you believe in what people say? If he said that he doesn't take the strong demigod seriously. I also said that I didn't even pay attention to the true God. What is the use? Who can't play tricks? The key is to see the truth. I've heard too many of these compelling words. If you say something else, I can still believe it. But I don't believe that Fang Fan's current power can fight against a strong demigod. Whether the strong demigods are in our Dark Temple or in the Light Alliance Temple, they are all top powerhouses, and they are all first-class saints. Just tell me, how many strong demigods are there in our Dark Temple? It's too bad. Madman, the first son of the Dark Temple, curled his lips, and couldn't help but want to belittle him. Such thoughts gathered in my heart, and they couldn't disappear for a while. There are thousands of thoughts, consciousness gradually flutters, and feelings become more and more elegant. The more I think about it, the more the rhythm expands. It is normal for Tianjiao to look down on each other. They always think they are the strongest. Faced with the madman's doubts, Motion did not directly refute. It's useless to say more now. See the truth. A remarkable existence is rising. If the Light Alliance Temple does not have any disputes with such an existence, it will definitely be able to completely suppress our Dark Temple within 100 years. Or they're too stupid. A good hand of cards is badly played by myself. This is what gives our Dark Temple a chance to breathe. Even if our Dark Temple can't win this Fang Fan, we must not let the Light Alliance Temple win it. When necessary, it may not be impossible to cut the weeds. His existence is an alternative. It's too dangerous. Mo Tian, the first-class saint in the Dark Temple, licked his lips, and his breathing gradually became rapid. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 3822. At this moment, a strong murderous intent had already arisen in his mind. Fang Fan is like a peerless treasure. Whoever owns it owns everything. Since I can't own it, it's better to let this evil treasure completely disappear at the origin. In this way, everything will return to the track at the beginning. Mo Tian, the first-class saint in the Dark Temple, silently clenched his fists and fell into deep thought. Since the win is not in place, kill. Such thoughts swirled wildly in his mind. Just for a while, Mo Tian couldn't make up his mind. Because these things are so messy. There is not even a minimum sense of order in the chaos. Whenever there is a little accident, the rhythm will be completely collapsed. At that time, it will be impossible to completely win him over. In the end, he could only follow silently. Look again. Look at the situation again. The more you are at this critical moment, the less you can be nervous. The rhythm pulls back a little bit. This is the most important thing. That's right. Mo Tian, the first-class saint in the Dark Temple, licked his chapped lips, then took a few steps back, slowly, calming down his restless heart, for fear that there would be any surprises again. The battle is now starting with drums and gongs. Little Fang Fan, this is the dead end you chose. Ha! In the end, you collapsed, and that's no fault of me. This is the end of the matter, it's useless to say more. If you choose to join the Dark Temple, and the bastard Motien is in the middle, you may still have a chance. But now this only chance of life has been cut off. In this case, there is nothing more to say. This is the end of the matter, tear everything in front of you completely. There are too many nights and dreams, this saint is going to attack first. This time, this saint will put an end to all of this. A dark shout came. Wang Tu, the first-class saint of the Temple of the Light Alliance, showed all his aura of a strong demigod, and immediately rushed over. Shen Qiu, Kathy, stop him. If there is a chance, kill it directly. Fang Fan sneered indifferently, and no longer tried to hide it. The matter has come to this point, it is useless to say more. The current situation has completely collapsed, and it is only reasonable to proceed little by little according to the established rhythm. Shen Qiu and Kathy didn't talk nonsense, they jumped into the air directly, and attacked Wang Tu left and right. Wang Tu didn't put Shen Qiu and Kathy in his eyes at the beginning. Although he felt that Kathy were both demigods of the Protoss, he took it for granted that they should be ordinary quasi-demigods of the Protoss, fearless. Although it is said that the demigods of the Protoss and the demigods of the Allies have a huge advantage between the same rank. But what are two quasi-demigods? The three collide. It was a tie for a while. Even because he underestimated the enemy, Wang Tu couldn't help but take a few steps back in the air. Weak demigod. The two Protoss are weak and demigod. Are you crazy? Hiss. Why is that? The weak demigods of the Protoss, according to the information, are the second-class god generals in the Protoss, and there are not many people above who can restrain you. Can't you stay in a high position in the Protoss? Why do you have to come here to deal with all these things? Call. What do you think in your heart? Why are there all these messy rhythms in my mind? No. Not right. There is a problem. There is definitely a problem. Fang Fan. Who are you? You have a high status in the Protoss. Otherwise, why would the two weak demigods of the Protoss obey your orders? You are the young master of the gods. Are you the illegitimate son of the Lord of Tianlin City? Are you the real master of Tianlin City? Wang Tu, the first-class saint in the Temple of the Alliance of Light, stared wide-eyed. While talking, he couldn't help thinking about it. While speaking, his lips trembled, and his breathing gradually became rapid. Excited, let's talk to someone more at this moment. With a messy rhythm, I wish I could tear everything in front of me completely clean. After a little bit of feeling, the whole person also fell into a gradual numbness. When the mentality collapses, who do you talk to? In the chaos, there is not even the minimum sense of order. Fang Fan raised his eyebrows, he had to admit that Wang Tu's associative ability is really good. What's the connection? Can you think of this? What kind of IQ is this? Just follow the invincible, okay. The corner of Fang Fan's mouth twitched, and he almost couldn't help laughing out loud at this moment. Interesting, this thing is really interesting. There was so much fun in it that Fang Fan didn't know what to say. Bellows, chaos to the extreme. Wang Tu continued to talk nonsense there, and Kathy and Shen Qiu would not be idle, they continued to attack. The weak demigods of the Protoss are said to be comparable to the strong demigods of the Allied forces, but if they really fight against each other, they are still far behind. However, the weak demigods of the two Protoss can completely resist the strong demigods of the Allies. Just like now, Kathy and Shen Qiu, the two weak demigods of the Protoss, directly fought against Wang Tu, the strong demigod of the Temple of the Light Alliance. Circumstances are stronger than people. The situation is in full swing. The sky is dark and the earth is dark, the sea is dry and the rocks are rotten. Wang wanted to sprint out several times to kill Fang Fan, but was blocked back viciously. It is obviously not that simple for him to carry out his plan. In other words, this road was completely blocked. Look, hopeless. The chaotic rhythm fluttered wildly in my mind, and I didn't know what to feel for a while. He pursed his lips, and then curled up his body, appearing extremely numb. How can a broken heart be healed? Caog. Caog. You bastard. What are you waiting for? Shoot. I will block the weak demigods of these two Protoss. You go and kill that brat Fang Fan. Aren't you preaching revenge in front of me all day long? Your revenge for castration will be avenged immediately. Go. Go. With the backing of a saint, what are you afraid of? As long as Fang Fan dies, you are the absolute confidant of the saint. No. When the time comes, you will be my brother. We will be brothers with our heads on the ground. Fight! 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 The crazy roar was about to completely crush everything in front of him. The intensifying rhythm is exhausting. Gradually feeling the position, the eyes trembled to the extreme. At the moment, Wang Tu is also at the end of his rope. He had no choice but to ask for help. Caog, who had watched the play well, was suddenly called on, and his body couldn't help but twitched. What's going on? Are you eyeing me again? Grass. Why bother? It's been a day, so there's nothing wrong? Beating and tossing on me all day? As for what? Is this thing interesting? At this moment, my heart is completely messed up to the extreme. The more I think about it, the more restless I feel. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 3823. A fire at the city gate brought disaster to the fish in the pond. This truth is too real. You can't figure it out by yourself, so you just want to come over and torment me? Master Saint, or else, or forget it? While nothing is happening, let's stop. Just, don't make trouble here. Cough. Even if I go up, it won't help. Beside Fang Fan, there are countless strong people. Equals. It's not bad if he doesn't come to trouble me, or kill me directly. How can I throw myself into the trap? Caog shrunk his neck, and then spoke uprightly. People have self-knowledge. Caog knew the self-knowledge. While talking at this moment, the body couldn't help but twitched. His lips were pursing wildly, and the corners of his mouth couldn't help twitching. The heart of chaos, let alone talk to anyone. While Wang Tu was parrying Shen Qiu and Kathy's joint attack, he was almost spit out blood by Caog. Why did I accept such trash in the first place? Can you be any more trash? You are also a quasi-demigod who has survived the demigod thunder tribulation. What are you afraid of a guy who is not even a saint? You are a demigod, why are you here? What's going on in your head? Why are there so many dramas in your head? Can you bring this rhythm back a little bit? You don't need it at all, okay. That's what it looks like. Wang Tu's face was dark, and while talking, he rolled his eyes frantically. Needless to say, the other ones who didn't have any could vomit blood directly at this moment. A wave of bells and whistles. Nothing. Just for fun. Master Saint, you, don't make sarcastic remarks there. You're really good, but didn't you feel ashamed in front of Fang Fan? Otherwise, Why are you still here? Caog grumbled, and silently followed suit. As soon as he said that, Wang Tu's face became even darker. Grass. What the hell are you complaining about? Where do I put my face? With a dark face, I don't know what to say. His chest trembled wildly with anger, and the rhythm gradually became unsteady. It's all damn it. What else is there to say? How about a face for you? When is it your turn to bargain in front of the saint? Now this saint is giving you an order. Snort. You have to go if you go. If you don't go, you have to go. This is beyond your control. Just stay there for me. Damn thing. I'm just out of breath. What? What's going on in your head? You're an asshole. Fang Fan is not dead, so you go and die for him. Evaluate it yourself. Wang Tu's sharp eyes swept over, looking very domineering. At this moment, due to distraction, Shen Xiu and Kathy found a loophole in the defense, and immediately returned to the original point with a rush of body. A stagger, almost fell down. Seeing Wang Tu in such a panic, Caog raised his eyebrows and almost couldn't laugh out loud. Now seeing the more unlucky this pretentious old guy is, Caog feels better in his heart. They clearly wanted to use me as cannon fodder, but they clearly did not treat me as a human being. What does it mean to kill Fang Fan and become my brother? Take me as your confidant? I bother. If I can't see your tricks clearly, wouldn't I, Caog, have spent so many years in vain? But at this moment, in Caog's heart, he really had to weigh it up. Wang Tu went crazy. This guy is a mad dog now, the kind who catches and bites. If you are unlucky, you may be bitten by him. At this moment, all kinds of thoughts in my heart are gathered in my heart, and my thoughts are gradually rushing in my mind. The more I think, the more chaotic this rhythm becomes. The thinking is gradually drawn together, and the thoughts are slowly moving forward to test. The rhythm of all aspects gradually converges, and this feeling is what I want. Caog looked at Wang Tu, then at Fang Fan who was smiling but not smiling in the distance, and those weird guards under his command who were fully armed. At this moment, the scene of Fang Fan leading these weird guards to kill all directions at the gate of the west gate of Tianlin City could not help appearing in his mind. The crazy fireworks shot out suddenly and suddenly swept away a large area. Tens of thousands of Protoss elites were instantly beaten to the ground. How to fight this? Not a magnitude. If you really fight against it forcefully, you will definitely die. Caog rolled his eyes. This is death, and there may be a glimmer of life in retreat. What Wang Saint is not Wang Saint, you are my father. I have to follow your orders in everything? What the hell do you take me for? Ah! Do you really think labor and capital don't know anything about what's in your mind? Just to give you face, don't get into it. What the hell, are you serious? Nothing. Caog turned around, and then fled in a hurry, increasing the speed to the extreme, widening the distance between each other, so that it was not so easy for Wang Tu to chase him. Letting himself come to a safe distance, Caog couldn't help turning his head to look a few more times. This thing is so interesting. He just wanted to see who would win in the end. Revenge or not, that's not a problem, the key is to watch the show. Wang Tu looked at Caog who kept fleeing, and was full of question marks for a while. What the hell, is this how you play with me? Ah! Sincerely. What do you think in your heart? This gaudy thing, can you pull the rhythm back a little bit? Why can't I understand this at all? Looking at it now, the more I look at it, the more I have a headache. Brain buzzing and trembling. The rhythm is completely stretched. Caog. You bastard. How dare you betray me? Are you crazy? Don't forget, everything you have now is from me. You dare to betray me. If I want to kill you, it's as easy as crushing an ant. The roars gradually increased, his complexion gradually turned extremely red, and in the depths of his eyes, murderous intent flickered frantically. In this impetuous heart, what else is there to say? Just look at it like this. Look at it, and basically understand it. What is going on, in fact, is very clear in my heart. The wall falls and everyone pushes it. Wang Tu felt that every time he met Fang Fan, everything went wrong. All the plans for him were fine at the beginning, but after practice, nothing seemed to be the case. Master Saint, you win the battle first and then talk about it. I think you might be in danger. If you want to be safe, follow me before anything happens. Lord Saint, loyal words are harsh to the ear and good for deeds. If you don't listen to me, you will be at a disadvantage. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 3824. Caog shook his head. What he said was sincere. It's just that Wang Tu can't listen to such nonsense at this moment. At the moment, the resentment and anger in my heart can't be grasped. The sound of panting followed, wishing to rush forward and kill this thing directly. Grass. Damn thing. Too bad. That's not how it's played at all, is it? This saint will not lose. You all have to pay the price. Bright profound truth. Wang Tu, the first-class saint in the Temple of the Light Alliance, had a fierce light in his eyes, and then the surface of his body began to radiate white light little by little. The surrounding area illuminated by the white light is clear. Looking at it at a glance, it inexplicably makes one's scalp tingle. Feeling the position, the sound of breathing gradually became rapid. This feeling, this taste, I can't grasp it for a while. The heart of blood collapse, let alone tell anyone. This is a magnification. Shen Qiu and Kathy frowned, then frantically began to resist. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Wang Tu's eyes gradually lit up. Good chance. Capture the thief first and capture the king. I'll kill that brat first. Then you all have to retreat. Opportunity, excellent opportunity. Wang Tu has also learned how to beat others. At this moment, the speed has been increased to the extreme. Gradually, the body flew towards the surroundings, the speed reached the extreme, and continued to stab forward without any slack. Anyway, just rush forward. This feeling is what I want. When the taste arrives, the feeling also deepens. For a time, he was invincible. The speed increased, and the crazy idea directly pulled the hips. Wang Tu went straight towards Fang Fan. Fang Fan's eyes suddenly narrowed, and the breath gathered in his body instantly. The danger was felt immediately. This guy is really tireless. In order to kill him, he has spared no expense. Now it is necessary to gather such will, and then crazily launch a thrust forward. With such an idea in mind, it is naturally difficult to say anything else. Shen Qiu and Kathy quickly came to help, but obviously, it was too late. Husband, let's go. I blocked them. Chu Sisi, a high-ranking saint, resolutely stopped in front of Fang Fan. No matter what, she couldn't let Fang Fan suffer any harm. Even if it would cost him his life, he would not hesitate. At this moment, there is such a will and concept in my heart. The more you think about it, the deeper you feel. I can't stop it. You retreat first. Fang Fan's mind moved slightly, and then summoned the golden armored puppet who was quasi-demigod. Boom. As soon as the golden armored puppet rushed forward with a gun, Wang Tuo rammed and fell aside. A pair of mechanical arms were directly smashed, the energy in the body was consumed instantly, and the combat power was directly cleared. This really isn't a level fight. It is not an exaggeration to say that there is a natural difference between a strong demigod and a quasi-demigod. Right now, many of the heroes under Fan Fan's command are no more than Saint Venerable Realm. Among the top 10 legions, there is only one quasi-demigod Gatling Legion. Obviously, the quasi-demigod God Gatling Legion could not withstand this level of blow. All of a sudden, there are many crises. A little carelessness, the whole game is lost. The urgent rhythm followed the calf in an instant. Fang Fan looked around and saw Bai Biao. Bai Biao's body trembled, and the extremely bad premonition in his heart came again at this moment. Grass. Again. Bastard. Bastard stuff. That's all I know about your plan. As expected. Feeling in place now, my heart is about to explode. The mentality gradually collapsed, and the mind slowly stretched the hips. Right now I don't know what to say. His eyes trembled frantically, the corners of his mouth twitched in place, and he didn't know what to say at this moment. Mess, too messy. In the chaos, even the most basic rhythm is gone. Dissipated. Collapsed. I wanted to say something, but felt completely blocked. Don't look at me like that. Boy Fang Fan. Don't fool me, can you? When you look at me like that, I know there's nothing good about it. It's become a law. I have said countless times, I will never have any entanglements with your kid in the future. Why? But I don't know why, when something happened, I couldn't move my leg. Grass. Did this envoy owe you in the previous life? Did you come here to pay the debt in this life? What is this all about? Damn it. I don't want to talk at all. Very messy. Bastards. Bastards. All bastards. Not a single good thing. I know what's on my mind. A muttering voice followed, and her face turned completely green. At this moment, his lips twitched and his eyes rolled, expressing Bai Biao's most speechless heart. But after complaining, Bai Biao rushed over resolutely, and then firmly blocked Fang Fan. I didn't do it to save you, kid. You cheated me with 1,000,000 God Stone fragments not long ago. This divine envoy is simply reluctant to part with my 1,000,000 fragments of divine stones. If your kid dies, who can I ask for the 1,000,000 God Stone fragments of my envoy? Yes. That's right. I want to hold on. I want to collapse. Snort. A muttering voice followed, even if Bai Biao was in this kind of thing, he still had to find an excuse for himself. Otherwise, I always feel that there is something wrong in my heart. Wangtu's attack arrived. Bai Biao's resistance also arrived. Seeing Bai Biao standing in front of Fang Fan, Wangtu had a sneer on his face. When did even this low-grade bastard dare to resist in front of the saint? A mantis arm is like a car, and it is beyond its control. But since you want to choose death, then I can help you. Let your life end completely at this moment. Heh. Speaking of which, you should feel honored too. How lucky that a small character like you can die under the hands of the saint. The corners of Wangtu's mouth raised slightly, and while he was talking, the arrogance on his face was beyond words. While talking, the whole person swelled up in an all-round way. At this moment, it is Tsundere, interpreting the Tsundere mentality to the extreme. It looks like it is invincible. The more you look at it, the weirder it is, and the more you feel it, the more amazing it is. Boom. Wangtu's attack arrived. Fang Fan, who was standing behind him, trembled in his heart. He subconsciously wanted to pull Bai Biao back. This time is different from before. The strongest one I have ever met before is a quasi-demigod. It doesn't matter if Bai Biao went up to fight against it. But this is a strong demigod. Can Bai Biao still perform the myth of his undefeated defense? Noisy is noisy, noisy is noisy, brotherhood is there. At the critical moment, that is the brother who can stab himself. Divine system of the strongest card supplier in the end times, Doomsday strongest card supplier. Author, Shuyu. Chapter 3825. Suffering a heavy blow, Bai Biao's body frantically moved in the air. The endless blood flowers gradually spread out in the air, and the scene looked very miserable. Ah! Day! Day! Grass! Could you please hold your hand a little bit? It hurts Lao Zi to death. Oh shit! It turns out that the attack of the strong demigod level is like this. I thought my body was going to collapse. Nothing. Bai Biao muttered, and then pretended to open up. Hearing Bai Biao's self-talking voice, Fang Fan immediately felt relieved. Still alive. Still full of energy. As long as there is still a breath, there is nothing that a healing card can't solve. Bai Biao exhaled a foul breath, and then used a healing card to make up for the injury. But right now, his whole body still seemed to be trembling a little, and his brain was buzzing. That taste and feeling suddenly trembled in my mind, and I couldn't grasp it for a while. Call. Seeing that Bai Biao was fine, Fang Fan breathed a sigh of relief. This guy is in really good shape now. At this point, it can still hold on, which is no longer something ordinary people can do. Is there an upper limit to this guy's defense? Or is it that the upper limit he created is being raised step by step? Definitely improved. Just what is the source of this promotion? Through training. What we normal people improve through cultivation is actually cultivation. But what is Bai Biao improving through cultivation? Could it be that what he cultivated to improve is the so-called defensive power? A normal person's level up means that the attack power and defense power will increase equally. Even if there is a deviation, it will not deviate too much. But when this kind of thing came to Bai Biao, it was directly reversed. The increase on his side is entirely defensive power. It's like a big-headed doll, providing nutrients to the head, while other parts of the body will appear thinner. Fang Fan narrowed his eyes, thinking to himself, and felt more and more that this was indeed the case. This time the thoughts are in place, and various ideas suddenly rush in my mind. It is more than words. The feeling is in place, and I think this thing is really interesting. Arranging according to the established rhythm will also appear extraordinary. How can it be? My attack, when did it become so ineffective? No. Impossible. Fake. It's fake. It's absolutely fake. You should have died long ago. Are you also a student of Guangming Academy? The only ones of your Guangming Academy who can survive my move are those few deputy palace masters. An ordinary student who can no longer be ordinary, where does this ability come from? What's wrong with this? There is a problem. There is definitely a problem. And this problem is still very serious. The muttering voice followed, and the posture of gnashing teeth was fully displayed, thinking silently in his heart, and various ideas gradually burst out. Wang, the first-class saint in the Temple of the Alliance of Light, stared at his hands, and couldn't help but fall into self-doubt at this moment. Could it be, am I really such a waste now? Completely turned into a waste? Staying here now, just like a fool? The more I think about it this time, the more I feel unwilling, resentful, and uncomfortable. A heart gradually became messy, and his complexion gradually became distorted. When the excited heart trembles, you can only know if you have it if you really feel it. How to act next is the most important thing. Wang Tu's gaze focused on Fang Fan again. It has come to this point now, and there is no turning back. Kill Fang Fan, once and for all the situation can be completely loosened. If Fang Fan didn't die, the situation would be too serious. Now it has been completely torn apart, either you die, or I live. Now that it has reached this point, there is nothing to say. Follow the established rhythm, so come on. What will happen in the end, only God knows. It's just that he has missed the best time to attack. At this moment, Shen Qiu and Kathy had surrounded him from left to right, and immediately started a desperate struggle against Wang Tuesday for a while. He had no chance to escape. Fang Fan was right in front of him, but he couldn't fight against him. This feeling became extremely uncomfortable for a while. Go away. Go away. Damn it. This saint didn't target you again. Why do you have to stay close to the saint? Get out. Get out of here, this saint. Damn it. Asshole. Whirring. I'm thinking about something. You're an asshole. CAOG. CAOG. You did it? Sage of the Demon Heaven. It is impossible for Fang Fan to join your dark temple. He is loyal to Guangming Academy. He even insulted the goddess of your dark temple. Once he grows up, with his potential, it is very likely that he will be the next pope of the Temple of the Alliance of Light in the future. You have to know, once he becomes the next pope of the Temple of the Alliance of Light, do you think you still have a chance? At that time, everything will collapse completely. You don't think about this situation, do you? If you are not careful, you will be in danger. Even if you don't think about yourself, you still have to think about the future of the Dark Temple. Ha ha ha. Our Temple of the Alliance of Light and your Temple of Darkness are pretty much the same now, and their strengths are about the same. No one can do anything to the other. Isn't that great? If we go on like this, we can still maintain peace. If there are no variables, the peace between us can continue. But you have to know, this Fang Fan is the most critical variable to break the peace. For the sake of the overall situation, you should also take action. You want to make a move, it's the best chance. I dragged the 2 weak demigods of the Protoss. Your chance has come. Now you only need to move your fingers lightly to kill Fang Fan. Once this opportunity is missed, everything will come to an end. Don't you understand it yet? Ah. It's over, what else is there to say? Don't you understand? The growls gradually increased, as if they wanted to completely suppress everything around them. The crazy rhythm feels in place, making the whole mind tremble. Rubbing his lips, he didn't know what to say at the moment, his heart was completely messed up. The rhythm is extremely chaotic. His eyes widened, staring at everything in front of him, and his breathing gradually became rapid. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 3826. For Wangtu, the first-class saint in the Temple of the Light Alliance, he has now bet everything on himself. At this moment, he is a crazy gambler. Once you lose, you have nothing. Everything in front of us will come to an end in an all-round way. He didn't want to see such a situation, let alone experience it. He wants to join forces with the Dark Temple. He wants to drag Mo Tian, the first-class saint in the Dark Temple, into the water. Enemy. Opponent. Where are the eternal enemies and rivals? If this is handled well, none of these will become a problem. Between each other, there is always such a feeling. The more you think about it, the more your mind expands. All of a sudden, various rhythms fluttered in full swing. The rhythm is in place, and the feeling gradually deepens. At this moment, it is also a difficult moment for the first-class Saint Mo Tian in the Dark Temple. A heart, also slowly followed by turmoil. It's time for the stall he chose. Of course, he likes Fang Fan very much, and wants to win over Fang Fan, and even wants to win over a future true god for the Dark Camp. But Fang Fan has never been interested in his invitation. Between the two, the critical point of split has now been reached. The idea of destroying if you can't get it was born in Motion's heart before. Now it's just a rehash of the past. The Temple of Darkness can't go through any more twists and turns. The foundation of the Dark Temple cannot be shaken. Actually, actually, thinking about it carefully, what Wangtu said is not unreasonable. This Fang Fan is a great enemy to Wangtu, but why not to our Dark Temple? Now there may be a little chance to kill him, and, after a while, maybe even this chance will not be there. If that time really comes, everything in front of me will be completely wiped out. I have to take these things into consideration. I have to stabilize the rhythm and stabilize the mentality, and I must not slack in the slightest. Yes. That's it, that's it. Who, hold on, hold on. Mo Tien, the first-class saint in the Dark Temple, licked his lips, walked forward, and slowly mobilized the spiritual power around him. Holy One, what are you doing? You won't be really bewitched by him, will you? You also believe what he said. Do you know what you're doing? Don't mess around. You don't know what's going to happen. It's not like you haven't seen how serious the situation is. You didn't say that when you came here. Didn't you just come here to brush up your favorability? Don't mess around. Mad Demon, the #1 son of the Dark Temple, raised his eyebrows and couldn't help pulling Mo Tien back. What he said before, he really felt unhappy with Fang Fan, because Mo Tien always praised Fang Fan in front of him and came to suppress him. He even said that if Fang Fan came to the Dark Temple, Fang Fan would be given the position of the #1 son of God. But those simple things are just a little bit of dissatisfaction among Tian Xiao. When it comes to big right and wrong, we still have to be steady. After such a long time, Mad Demon, the #1 son of the Dark Temple, has sorted out some clues. It's not easy. If you are not careful, this rhythm will become fragmented. How to deal with it then? No matter how you deal with it, you can't deal with it well. In the end, it is still necessary to be cool on the spot. Since it is confirmed that Fang Fan is the reincarnation of the true God and the future true God, why bother to provoke him? Anyway, the foundation of this relationship is pretty good now, and I haven't provoked anything. Do I have to go up and find trouble? Madness. Get out of the way. Now is not the time for you to play your temper. It's not as simple as you think. Now this situation must be brought under control. Otherwise something will happen. If Fang Fan doesn't kill him, our Dark Temple will be in danger in the future. It seems impossible for him to join my Dark Temple. Since that's the case, there's no need to say anything superfluous. I can't let the Dark Temple take a little risk. I want to nip all danger in the bud. In this way, the Dark Temple will be safe and sound. Do you understand? At this moment we must collapse. Does Bounce know? The mumbling voice followed, and the gnashing of teeth was fully displayed. While talking at this moment, the fierce light in the eyes became more and more sharp, as if to completely push everything in front of him into place. With such thoughts rushing in my mind, it gradually became urgent. Mo Tien, the first-class saint in the Dark Temple, seemed to be possessed at this moment, staring at Fang Fan firmly, and pretended to attack. Fang Fan's eyebrows trembled. The danger ahead has not been dealt with, and another wave of danger will come later? This gaudy thing, it's really a little scalp-numbing. Going forward at this pace, we still don't know what will happen next. The rhythm was a little chaotic, and my brain was buzzing. The more you think, the more your thoughts explode and the rhythm flutters. It's not right. Boy Fang Fan, those fellows in the Dark Temple are not bad-hearted. Damn it. We are completely screwed today. You son of a bitch, it's really unlucky this time. Hey, I'm going to follow Liang Bo. Boy Fang Fan, otherwise, you should run away quickly. Otherwise, it's fine to enter the small world of Shushan Pavilion. Anyway, I just can't stay here any longer. If you stay like this, you will really die. Gudong. Now our masters are going to fight against that guy Wangtu. The demon sky in that dark temple is also a strong demigod existence, no worse than Wang Tuesday. If he attacks, how can we resist? Fang Fan boy, why don't you say anything? You kid, don't you still want to fight me? It's not a problem to use me to fight or something. The key is, I will just do it all at once. That's a strong demigod. I can resist a wave of attacks is already the limit. If he does it again, I may not even have the chance to use the healing card. At that time, we will really follow Liangbo. Speaking of which, why don't you speak? Talk. You kid should talk. You're doing it, I'm panicking, you know that. Bai Biao's mouth has always been in such a broken state. Anyway, I kept shouting, and there was no theme. Steady. That motion just wanted to kill, but he hasn't moved yet. He's still trying. Test our whole cards. If we fled now, it would appear that we have no confidence. Divine System of the strongest card supplier in the end times, Doomsday strongest card supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 3827. Fang Fan narrowed his eyes and nodded as he spoke. From the beginning to the end, it seemed that there was no sense of being too nervous. Everything is calm. Bai Biao. What time is it, are you still trying? People's temptations belong to people's temptations, what are we risking here? When he finishes his probing, he will really launch an attack. What will we do then? Is it possible that we really want to fight him to the death? Gudong. At that time, people will really die. Why? Tell you about this, you don't care at all. It's an adventure. It's too risky, you know. If anything happens, you'll know. When the time comes, you will regret it. Hey. It's too difficult. Boy Fang Fan, am I, Bai Biao, the kind of person who is greedy for life and afraid of death? Isn't it just for myself to know? I'm mainly thinking about you, a family member. If something happens, I'm afraid you won't be able to accept it. I told you, but you didn't listen. What a headache. I don't know what it will turn into in the end. That demon sky is staring at us. That gaze is like a snake and a scorpion. Stay on it. Just stare on us. Bai Biao felt that his mouth was about to be worn out. But it didn't work at all. What should be or what should be, there is no change at all, okay. At this moment, he couldn't help but sighed, Bai Biao was numb. Toss it. Continue to toss it. In the end, when the toss and accidents happen, you will know that you regret it. Bai Biao sighed, then rubbed his forehead, feeling quite speechless at the moment. I really don't know what to do next. The chaotic rhythm, follow the full-scale explosion. On the other side, Motion, the first-class saint in the Dark Temple, is sharpening his sword, ready to attack Fang Fan, and he is making the final preparations. Madman, the number one son of the Dark Temple, has been persuading him from the sidelines. But overall, it doesn't seem to have any effect. The overall rhythm also tends to be messy. Aren't you afraid of God's punishment? He is the reincarnation of a true God. They even dare to desecrate a true God of the level of the Starry Night Goddess. Obviously, it was not easy to provoke in the God's domain before. I also heard that even the goddess Athena of the Light Camp personally lowered her shadow to hug and even kiss him. Obviously, even if this guy is a real god in God's domain, it won't stop. I don't know how many goddesses this guy has been tossing around as lovers when he was in God's domain. As long as there is someone who still has affection for him, and then pays attention to him every day, and then finds out that Fang Fan was killed by you, will you have a good life in the future? Being stared at by the true God every day, isn't this life completely coming to an end? One more thing, are you sure you can kill that Fang Fan with a single shot? If that Fang Fan was killed so easily, how could he still be alive? Wang Tu and you are both in the same realm, didn't his shots work? The words I persuaded you were used by you to enlighten me before, but now I am enlightening you. Why? I simply want you to be careful. But you just don't listen to me. Wait a while and you'll know if something really happens. Just wait and regret it then. I still don't know what it will look like in the end. The madman, the first-class godson of the Dark Temple, is no longer insane. While talking, he immediately sighed, his eyes flickered, and all kinds of thoughts were completely messed up in his mind. The rhythm is gradually flying, and the thoughts are gradually rushing. The more you think about it, the deeper you feel. What I want is this effect. For a moment it seemed real. Thoughts are in place, everything is elegant. Immediately invincible. What do you mean? You see what's wrong. This saint can't kill this Fang Fan if he makes a move. How can this be? There are indeed many strong people around Fang Fan, but the strongest are the two weak demigods of the Protoss. But aren't you also being entangled by Wang Tu now? The strongest around him now is the quasi-demigod. So what if there are more quasi-demigods? There is no threat to me. As long as I am willing, I can destroy Gula's immortal world and kill him completely. The action will be fast, it will not take long at all. At this time, I really can't be soft-hearted and hesitant. If something happens and you regret it, it will be too late. The current situation is really bad. I've told you so much, and you don't understand. The sound of emotion gathered, and the posture of gnashing teeth was fully displayed. Mo Tian clenched his fists, and he couldn't help but have more thoughts and ideas in his heart. I just want to show a wave, why does it seem so difficult now? How to go on this road next? Take it slow. Okay. Go ahead. Don't blame me for not reminding you when something goes wrong. I think you are really crazy now. The madman shook his head, and he didn't bother to talk anymore. He just sat on the mountain and watched the tigers fight. Mo Tian stepped forward, ready to make a move. Wang Tu, the first-class saint of the Temple of the Light Alliance, who was struggling to fight back, was overjoyed when he saw that he had an ally. Holy One, you made an extremely correct choice. Don't worry, you will be glad that you made such a choice in the future. Ha ha ha. Sage of the Demon Heaven, hurry up, hurry up. Hurry up. What are you dawdling about? What's there to dawdle about? Speed, speed up. Talk to you. Don't understand. Hurry up. Long nights and many dreams. Wang Tu's face turned red, and then he roared crazily. The mood at the moment is particularly joyful. For a moment, I felt like I was about to fly to the clouds. The taste in it, let me tell you. Simply not too comfortable. Invincible. Immediately invincible. A long night with many dreams. 2. Now that you've made up your mind, you can't delay. Anyway, Fang Fan now knows that I'm going to kill him, and the relationship between them can't be restored to the way it was before. That being the case, we must do whatever it takes. Things have developed to this point, we must not be merciful anymore. Seize the opportunity. Just burst out. With thousands of thoughts and surging consciousness, Mo Tian, the first-class saint in the Dark Temple, gradually became quicker in his footsteps, and his breathing gradually became faster, and his thoughts burst out completely. The saint of the demon heaven. Why are you still dawdling? I waited until the flowers were about to wither. I have prepared a big gift for you. A strong demigod of the dark camp, this whole body is full of treasures. Divine system of the strongest card supplier in the end times, Doomsday strongest card supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 3828. Fang Fan made a preemptive strike, which made Mo Tian a little unconfident for a while. What do you mean? That means, are you already ready? Ah. So I'm the one to die? Give me empty plans. But, but what if it is true? Is he coveting my 180 caddies? Mo Tien, the first-class saint in the Dark Temple, couldn't help frowning. He was a suspicious person, but now he was thinking too much. Seeing Fang Fan's confident appearance, he felt somewhat guilty. At this moment, his lips were slightly whispering, and his thoughts gradually became chaotic in his mind. If you make a mistake, it's really over. The aspects involved are quite horrifying. If you are not careful, you will be on the spot. At this moment, we must be more careful, more vigilant, and more vigilant. This is the most important thing. There are thousands of thoughts, and the consciousness is gradually messed up in the mind. The more you think about it, the deeper your feelings become. Sage of the Demon Heaven. What did you ink on? Quick. Quick. Move. Move. Talking to you. Didn't you hear me? What time is it now? Why are you hesitating? You showed your sharpness just now. That brat Fang Fan hates you. This is the end of the matter, what else is there to say? Hurry up. Hurry up. If you miss this good opportunity, let this brat slip away. It's all over. On the side, Wang Tu, the first-class saint in the Temple of the Light Alliance, was roaring and yelling urgently. After finally getting Mo Tien onto the thief ship, he must be caught quickly now. If this is a shot, he will have to bear it alone. Thinking of these crazy scenes, for a moment, my whole heart was completely messed up. The more you think about it, the more your thoughts expand. Rhythm, followed by a full hip pull for a while. There are thousands of thoughts, and the consciousness is completely messed up. Mo Tien's footsteps were vain, and black lines were densely covered on his forehead. Everyone is persecuting him. He has to think about it. He couldn't bear the result of making a mistake. The more you think about it, the more messy your thoughts become. Now my lips feel like they are bubbling. Difficult to go to the blue sky. All the bells and whistles have to be dealt with slowly. The more you think about it, the more real you feel. On one side is Wang Tu's frantic urging, on the other side is Fang Fan's leisurely step, and now the number one son of the Dark Temple, Mad Demon, dissuades him. Mo Tien was confused for a moment. This step is really impossible to go on. It was as if there were countless nightmare voices yelling crazily in my heart, and for a while, my whole person became depressed. The current rhythm completely pulls the hips, and the dead end gradually becomes numb. What to do, what to do? Damn it! I knew I wouldn't have come. I thought I was sure of winning, but I didn't expect to put myself in such an embarrassing situation. Actually, you shouldn't think too much about it. Compared to the current overall situation, should I consider so much? If this Fang Fan really has enough confidence, how could he not even be able to kill Wang Tu? Now he can only restrain him. So, in fact, he has been bluffing. Then if that's the case, I won't have to worry about it. Never mind. In this matter, the most important thing is to stabilize the rhythm. Yes. That's it, that's it. When did I become so intimidated? It wasn't like this before. It's because I listen too much, so my thinking will be a little unstable. That's it, that's it. Call. Now that you have made up your mind, just follow your own mind. Others, it doesn't matter. Sprint, full sprint. A muttering sound followed, and thoughts gradually exploded in his mind, and the eyes of Mo Tien, the first-class saint in the Dark Temple, gradually became falconry. He looked at Fang Fan, his eyes filled with endless coldness. Once you've made up your mind, you don't need to think about anything else. Immediately, he took a step forward, completely transmitting his killing intent. The corner of Fang Fan's mouth twitched, but he didn't catch it after all. It seems that I really have to choose to run away to the small world of Shushan Pavilion. Just at this time, several figures suddenly rushed over in the distance. Don't hurt me, a student of Guangming Academy. Shui Wanren, deputy head of Guangming Academy, brought another deputy head, Wu Meiling. Fang Fan has added 2 new troops. One is a quasi-demigod and the other is a weak demigod. If this kind of combination and assistance is placed on the ordinary battlefield, it is already an extremely high-quality existence. But compared to the current situation, it still looks a bit cold. The situation cannot be stabilized, and the situation cannot be suppressed. There are 2 strong demigods, Wang Tu and Mo Tian, in charge here. Holy One, what do you want to do? Shui Wanren, deputy head of Guangming Academy, quickly stopped Fang Fan and directly protected Fang Fan. Even if he was facing a powerful demigod from the Dark Temple at this moment, even if he couldn't beat him at all, this kind of protective action was all subconscious. From the bottom of his heart, Shui Wanren didn't want Fang Fan to suffer any harm. At this moment, the trembling heart gathered together, and the brilliance in the eyes flickered all over. The more thoughts in the heart, the more messy the thoughts became. It is more than words. If you feel this way, you can tell someone more. For a time, he was invincible. What else is there to think about at the moment? These are insignificant things. Don't think too much here. It's all minor issues. Hee. Isn't it obvious enough what the saint is going to do? I didn't want to start killing people, but if you insist on sending them to your door, what can I do? Saint Wang, these are all demigods of your light camp. If I kill you, you won't blame the saint, will you? Mo Tian, the first-class saint of the Dark Temple, laughed, and then looked at Wang Tu, the first-class saint of the Light Alliance Temple in the distance. Blame. How can it be? It's too late for me to thank you. These guys are always jumping off in front of me, if they die, they die. Our light camp is not bad for these demigods. Wang Tu, the first-class saint in the Temple of the Alliance of Light, said lightly, as if he didn't care. But you should hurry up. Asshole, why are more and more people coming here now? Don't expect any surprises. Hurry up, get rid of these things. Humph. I don't want any accidents to happen again. It's a mess, nothing goes well. Holy skyscraper, what are you still talking about? You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 3829. Wang Tu looked impatient. While shouting, the posture of gnashing teeth was fully displayed, while speaking, the brows were completely wrinkled. Such a posture, let alone talk to anyone. Once the rhythm is stabilized, the next many things can be fully grasped. New. You don't need to remind me. The first saint in the Dark Temple, Mo Tian, gave a dark shout, and immediately rushed towards Fang Fan's position without procrastination. Shui Wanren and Wu Meiling's expressions changed suddenly, and they hurried up to resist. But before he got close to motion, his body was pushed aside, without the slightest strength to resist. The gap between the weak demigod and the strong demigod is revealed here. At this moment, Wu Meiling, the deputy head of the Guangming Academy who was in the quasi-demigod state, was spitting out blood. This scene showed that the despair in her heart was fully gathered, and her thoughts were completely chaotic. The rhythm is out of order. Everything will follow collapse. When everything is broken, what else is there to say? All followed cold. It's messed up, totally messed up. That's all. Fang Fan. Escape. Run away. Do not hesitate. This is killing me with jealousy. He came here to kill you. If you hesitate for a moment, you won't be able to escape. Quick! I can't hold it anymore. Shui Wanren, the deputy head of the Guangming Academy, let out a roar, and bean-sized drops of sweat fell from his forehead. Fang Fan's brows were frowned into Sichuan characters, and his face was pondering for a moment. Right now, it's a mess. Originally, he could have chosen to bring everyone directly into the small world of Chu Tian Pavilion. Because everyone gathers together and can enter together, there will be no deviation. As for Kathy and Shen Xiu, although they are on the periphery, and relying on their strength, even if they cannot resist the joint attack of Mo Tian and Wang Tu, they will definitely not have a big problem if they want to escape. Now Wu Meiling and Shui Wanren are here. They are scattered around. If Fang Fan left with Bai Biao and others now, Mo Tian and Wang Tu, who were in a panic, would definitely attack Wu Meiling and Shui Wanren by then. At that time, they will be really dangerous. Fang Fan's mind began to conduct a comprehensive brainstorming. The more I think about it now, the more messy my consciousness becomes. The rhythm is chaotic, the eyes tremble, and I really don't know how to act. It's a mess, it's all a mess. Dead. You really were lying to me just now. Ah. If you really have enough whole cards, how can you watch them get hurt without doing anything? It seems that you are also at the end of your rope. If I knew today, why bother? At that time, I came to win you over. Wouldn't it be fine if you agreed? Isn't it good to come to my dark temple to be the number one son of God? Do you have to toss? It's all right now, let's toss yourself in. It is said that you are the reincarnation of a true God, and I, Motion, want to feel the feeling of killing a god. Since you have devoted yourself to the light camp, it means that you should be the true god of the light camp. I, Motion, killed the true gods of the light camp with my own power. At that time, the supreme true gods of the dark camp will definitely send me endless rewards. Hiss. That's not a bad thing. I wanted to kill you and maintain the peace of my dark temple, but I didn't expect there to be surprises. Okay. If that's the case, this saint can't be merciful. The first-class saint of the dark temple seemed very excited at the moment. While talking, his footsteps gradually became fluttering, and in his mind, all kinds of feelings followed. Thoughts were flying, and the rhythm became cheerful. At this moment, there seemed to be an extremely powerful energy fluctuation sweeping in the distance. Motion's body trembled slightly, his suspicions gradually rose again, his brows frowned, his expression changed abruptly, his thoughts were full of thoughts. The more he thought, the more messy his feelings became, and for a while, his whole body fluttered and fluttered. Numbness. I always feel that the situation is not very good. Some of these formalized things can't be grasped. What is going to happen next? Strange energy fluctuations. At least a dozen demigods rushed over. Could it be this guy's handwriting? If this is the case, the situation will be bad. If you are not careful, you may be cut off from the horse. The rhythm is even more chaotic. Next, what are we going to do? Mo Tian stopped moving for a while, looked into the distance with sharp eyes, and then wanted to stabilize a little more. Just in front. They're right ahead. I can't escape. Quick. Quick. Go faster. Don't hesitate. Don't hesitate. Faster, faster. Crazy shouts followed, and not far away, the eyes of Talha, the third-class god general of Tianlin City, turned blood red. At this moment, his teeth were clenched tightly, and his breathing seemed extremely rapid. Surging heart, let alone talk to someone. Now I just want to rush over. Unbearable. The rhythm also gradually became chaotic. Those things in consciousness trembled crazily, and his eyes were extremely blood red. Invincible mentality, let alone tell anyone. Crazy stab. Crazy flutter. Immediately invincible. He saw hope, saw dreams, and saw that damned mysterious alien leader. Including the group of foreigners, all of them are there. The time to catch everything has arrived. Originally, his heart was about to go cold, and he felt that he would not be able to pursue him, and felt that he would take the risk of sneaking into the cities of those foreigners and taking the opportunity to search for Fang Fan. In this case, although it is feasible, the risk factor can be imagined. On his side, there are only 2 weak demigods of the Protoss, and with him, there are 11 quasi-demigods of the Protoss in total, and the rest are 100 high-ranking saints of the Protoss. Hundreds of people were killed in a hurry. There is only one purpose at this moment, to kill Fang Fan. Take back the treasure of the city lord. I didn't expect that this group of people didn't hurry back after winning the treasure, but were still waiting here to die. This great achievement is definitely bestowed on me by God. Ha ha ha. Take them down. Go ask the city lord for credit. Brothers, the opportunity has come. Quaid, the second-rank general of Tianlin City, who had always seemed sluggish, suddenly regained his energy. The feeling of the willows and flowers brightening another village is really cool. Now there is an extreme sense of stimulation all over the body and mind, and I can't wait to stab directly in place. Invincible heart, let alone tell anyone. Keep going. Bring the rhythm. The speed fluttered. This is the feeling you want. Invincible. 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 There are thousands of thoughts, and the consciousness is completely messed up. Just don't be too cool. Divine system of the strongest card supplier in the end times, Doomsday strongest card supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 3830. It can be said that now is the time when the morale of this Protoss squad is the most inflated. When they were completely overwhelmed, Fang Fan's battle came to an abrupt end. Outsiders are here, what else is there to fight? What are they shouting about? Looks like you're talking to that brat Fang Fan. Wang Tu, the first-class saint in the Temple of the Alliance of Light, took a few steps back, his expression condensed for a moment. This bastard Fang Fan really joined the Protoss, right? Damn it! He can't really be the young master of the Protoss. If that wasn't the case, there would have been 2 weak gods protecting him from the beginning. It's all right now, there are 2 weak demigods of the Protoss and a dozen quasi-demigods of the Protoss. What the hell is this trying to do? Whirring. There was a rapid panting sound, and Wang Tu, the first-class saint in the Temple of the Light Alliance, frowned, his eyes flickered, and his complexion turned black. Not much else to say, the most critical thing now is how to deal with the current situation. You can't just do nothing, right? This is going to happen. Now we must stabilize the situation and stabilize our mentality, this is the most important thing. Are you sure Fang Fan is a member of the Protoss? Or the young master of the Protoss? How did you know? Why didn't you say it earlier? When did he contact the Protoss? Mo Tian, the first-class saint in the Dark Temple, looked at Wang Tu fiercely at this moment, and believed what Wang Tu said at this moment. The current situation is really too evil, besides believing now, it seems that there is only one left to believe. How else could it be? Things are already like this, so what is there to talk about? This, I guessed. But my guess is not unfounded. Look, none of us know the language of the Protoss now. Although we have captured many captives of the Protoss and are trying to decipher their language, but now we are limited to some simple spoken language, and we cannot communicate with the Protoss at all. But Fang Fan, the brat, has no trouble communicating with the Protoss. In addition, there are 2 weak demigods around him who have been protecting him. Also, he went to Tianlin City of the Protoss several times, but he didn't encounter any danger. You don't know how cruel these Protoss are. If you want to enter 3 times and exit 3 times in the city of the Protoss, how can it be so simple? Now there can only be one explanation. This Fang Fan joined the Protoss and became a lackey of the Protoss. Or, he himself is a member of the Protoss, but he sneaked into the Guangming Academy just by chance. Well, it must be so. Wang Tu, the first-class saint in the Temple of the Alliance of Light, nodded frequently as he spoke, so that even he believed it. When Caog, who was standing in the distance, heard this, he almost let out a breath of joy. This sand sculpture. Can you sculpt a little more? Fang Fan is the young master of the God clan? What are you thinking? He had personally witnessed Fang Fan's killing spree on the top of Tianlin City. I still don't understand this point. Caog thought so in his heart, but now he only wanted to marginalize himself quickly, so he didn't dare to show it directly for the time being. In all aspects, just stick to the point, this is the most important thing. Otherwise, wouldn't it be too obvious? It didn't suit his temperament. Stabilization is the most necessary. There are thousands of thoughts, and the consciousness is completely messed up. The more you think, the deeper the feeling. A laugh sounded, full of laughter. Caog didn't dare to talk nonsense, but to Madman, the first son of the Dark Temple, it didn't matter, he didn't care about it. Even if the Pope of the Dark Temple is in front of him, he dares to act recklessly. Idiot. Madman first laughed a few times, then shook his head and cursed. Although he didn't mention his name, all fools know that the guy who abused him is obviously Wang Tu. Wang Tu's face turned green instantly. What's going on with these young people now? One by one, no sense of respecting the old and loving the young? One counts as one, they are all naughty. Extreme asshole. Sage of the demon heaven. If the people in your dark temple can't handle it well, this saint will take care of it for you. Wang Tu said speculatively that he had to show his presence. Sage Wang, why bother with a junior? You say that Fang Fan is a member of the Protoss, isn't that unreasonable? Mo Tian, the first-rank saint in the Dark Temple, shook his head, thinking that this matter was too good. A fool would think that Fang Fan belongs to the Protoss. Who set up giant cannons on the walls of the Yuanqi God City to bombard the Protoss army? It can be said that it would not have been that simple to repel those Protoss troops if Fang Fan hadn't rushed to help them. Take a step back and say that Fang Fan is really a member of the Protoss. He was able to bombard the mysterious cannon at the Yuanqi God City. Now that the Yuanqi God City has fallen, everyone should have become lonely ghosts. Do you have a brain? How could you have these thoughts? Stupid. So stupid. I'm completely speechless right now because there are so many idiots now. As long as you have a little brain, it is impossible to think like this. A joke, really a joke. The madman shook his head and couldn't help laughing out loud. There's nothing scary about him, he just looks like he's crushing to the end. Wang Tu's face turned greener. Damn. It's all bullshit. All kinds of thoughts gathered in his mind, and his complexion turned black to the limit. The resentment in my heart can't be let go at all. Snort. Ghost knows what that brat Fang Fan is up to. It's absolutely fine for these Protoss people to help him now. It's also possible that he hadn't been persuaded by the Protoss to surrender at that time, but now he has become a member of the Protoss. These, who can say clearly? What should we do now? If Fang Fan is hiding behind those Protoss demigods, how can we kill him? Another great opportunity missed. Motion, if you were faster, Fang Fan would have died. Hesitating, what great things can you accomplish? Even the best plan will be ruined in your hands. Wang Tu, the first-class saint in the Temple of the Alliance of Light, gritted his teeth and couldn't help complaining to Motion. I am very upset in my heart now, and I have to find a direction to vent it. otherwise it will be really uncomfortable if the resentment in my heart cannot be vented. The more you think about it, the more messy your thoughts become. At this moment, his face turned black into the bottom of the pot. All the bells and whistles and a total breakdown. Blame me. Ridiculous. If I hadn't come, you might have been tricked to death by Fang Fan's scheme. It's fine if you're not grateful, but you're still resentful.